What is up guys, Electrify here. This is my first video ever. Let's get into it.
Electrify!
For the past few weeks, Graveyard is everywhere, and it's absolutely dominating the meta. In tournament standards, the Graveyard spell spawns one level 9 skeleton every 0.5 seconds, while the Arena Tower shoots every 0.8 seconds. That means that your Arena Tower won't be able to take care of each skelly in time, and they will accumulate quickly. When you add an inexpensive tank to the equation, such as the Ice Golem, the Graveyard spell can be devastating and take out a tower in an instant. In order to simplify things, I'll separate the counters into 3 groups. Group A, the best counters, contains the archers and the minions. Group B, good counters, contains the minion horde, the barbarians, and the guards. And Group C, decent counters, which contains the bowler, the ice golem, the dark goblin, goblins, and Skarmy. Both archers and minions can deny full ice golem graveyard push by themselves without suffering any lethal amount of damage to the arena tower and staying alive for a counter push. Barbarians, Minion Horde, and Bowler are quite costly, so if the Graveyard spell is combined with a Giant, Hog, or a Golem, you might be in trouble. Guards will die to a Graveyard followed by a Zap about 80% of the time, so they probably won't prevent all damage and also won't survive for a counter push. Ice Golem and Dark Goblin are able to individually almost fully deny an entire Graveyard spell with no tank tanking, but when there is a tank tanking for the Graveyard, they won't be enough to prevent damage. Although, if you use one of these two combined with a Zap or a Log, you will be able to drastically mitigate the damage done to your tower. As for the Goblins and Skarmy, they both are weak to Zap, so as long as your opponent has it in cycle, they won't be enough to stop a Graveyard push. I recommend having either archers or minions in any of your guys' decks, but if you don't want to, there are a few ways to go around that, but you must have at least 2 of the following cards in your deck. So now that I covered the theoretical part, I want to show you how I defend Graveyard from my own gameplay footages, so let's jump right into it. That's a replay from a Grand Challenge, where my opponent used a Graveyard deck. I will try to break down what was going through my mind while I defended his Graveyard pushes. Right there, I saw that the Graveyard was tanking for the Mega Minion, so that meant that I had to defend both the Mega Minion and the Graveyard. But I decided that it would be better to have the elixir lead rather than the damage lead, so I took some damage from the Graveyard, but the Mega Minion cannot be ignored. Right here, I see a massive counter push coming at me, and I know that a Graveyard is about to be deployed, so I prepare myself knowing that with my current hand, the best counter in the Graveyard would be Ice Golem, and a Zap can be added if needed. Luckily, he didn't time the Graveyard correctly, and I was able to deal with a Graveyard with some small units and a Zap. Here I was trying to use the Ice Golem to tank the Graveyard, and the Musketeer to snipe his Ice Golem and Mega Minion, but I still wasn't able to stop his Graveyard push from taking out my tower. Right after my tower went down, I went all in with hot pushes, knowing that he's in an elixir disadvantage, and in addition, it'll be way harder for him to damage my arena tower now that a king tower has been activated. So guys, that was my first video about how to counter Graveyard. Subscribe if you haven't. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter for more information, and if you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to comment them down below. I was Electrify. Until next time, peace!